there, my name's Carlo and welcome to another exciting After Effects tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at the heat distortion pack, which is available from videocopilot.net. I'll show you how to get it in a second. I'm using this basically this comp for an example of where the heat distortion plugin would come in useful. This is a tutorial I followed along from Video Copilot. It's a brand new tutorial available from that site, and it's really interesting, and it's a good little tutorial to follow along to as well, because it teaches you how to use fractal noise, color coordination, spheres, stuff like that. So it's an amazing little tutorial to follow along to, and it's also a great example to where and how you would use the heat distortion pack within After Effects. So first of all, getting this plugin is fairly simple. There's two ways you can actually get it. So if you go to videocopilot.net, which this is the website here, there's two ways. You can either get it through the flight kit, which is $99.95, which is great. I've actually got the flight kit for Mac, but for Windows, but I haven't got it for Mac, but I do have jetstrike for Mac, if that makes sense. Or there's another way. It's just been released down there. If you scroll down, you can get the heat distortion plugin right here for $24.95, which is well worth it if you need heat displacement or heat distortion for your projects. Even though After Effects does provide you with a way to get heat distortion, it's a lot of fiddling around and it's a lot of work to actually get it looking as good as this would make it look, if that makes sense. So once you sort of click on your buy, you put in your visa details, you purchase it, then you'll get this where you can download it. Obviously I'm not going to do it because I've already got it. You'll install it, put in your license, job done. Okay, so I'm just going to come out of here and go back into After Effects. I'd like to say this is a tutorial I followed along through Andrew Kramer, videocopilot.net. You can also find this tutorial at videocopilot.net as well, and I do recommend you follow along, especially if you're training yourself or teaching yourself about heat displacement. So it's really good. Now I found the best way to sort of use heat displacement is basically once you've completed a project and you've got everything done, is to pre-compose your project or render it out. So basically export it, if that makes sense, because what heat distortion allows you to do, it allows you to basically section off an area which you want the heat to be generated from, or where you want the heat to come from. So I'll try and show you a couple of examples of basically how you would do that. So firstly and foremost, obviously this is not pre-composed, so if you don't know how to pre-compose it, once your project's finished and you've got everything done, what you would do is you can just find a little corner here, highlight everything, come up to layer here, go down and hit pre-compose. So come up here, move all attributes into new composition, and you can type it as well, so I'll just call that sunny. So you just click OK, and what that's done is just basically giving you one pre-composed element, so basically nothing could be messed up, if that makes sense. But once you open that, nothing will be there except for the pre-composed video that you've just created. So what this allows you to do is concentrate on certain areas of your project or your film that you want the heat displacement to affect, to give effect to, if that makes sense. But for this example, because this is like obviously a sun, and I want the heat to be basically everywhere, but not to the point where it's going to affect the sky and stuff like that. So what I'm just going to do is to quickly render that out, or pre-render it. And what you would do is once you've installed your plugin, it will be available within your Video Copilot settings in After Effects. So what you do is you'll come to, with this selected, come to Effects, Video Copilot, and you'll have it here, Heat Distortion. So if you just click on that, it will bring up this section here. So it'll load it up, because there's quite a lot that actually goes into heat distortion, but it's so cool, it's just unreal. So I let that load up, or pre-compose shall I say. There's also another way you can do it as well, if it helps, is if you, like I've just said, if you render your video and export it and then just start a new project and bring your video in to After Effects, that is another better way of doing it. So I can show you from that point as well. So if I just go to File and I just create a new project. Now I've got this already. I'm not going to save this because I've already got it. So I'm going to import a file. This is the way I like to do it, even if I'm doing stuff on jetstrike as well. So if I just go to my desktop and I just find my Sun MPEG-4, this is the one I've already exported. So I'm just going to drop that into a comp like so. And as you can see, the video is already done. Now obviously I'm going to render that out quickly, very quickly. Always try and render your projects before you go into it. It makes life so much easier for when you actually go to do the final render. So obviously you come to a point there, like I said, select, you need to go up to Effects, Video Copilot and Heat Distortion, or you can go to Effects up here, Video Copilot, Heat Distortion. What I like to do, just to make sure it applies the effect, is come down to here, click on Heat Distortion, bosh. Now automatically, as you can see, it's given me a heat distortion. It's doing what it's meant to do. So what I'm going to do is, because that's just been added, I'm just going to quickly render that out, obviously making my workflow a lot more faster and a lot more smoother. And then basically we'll play around with these settings up here. As you can see, I'll show the difference with it on and off. It makes a hell of a difference, but obviously here where it's turned up so high, you can see my Sun is wobbling big time. So even though that still looks bloody awesome, so I'm going to try and do this in real time. This scene's only about 6 seconds long, so it shouldn't take too long to render this bit out. But I do like to render as I go along, because it just makes life so much easier. And obviously it doesn't mess around with your your work if you get something wrong as well, because it makes it a lot more fluid. So let's just finish that. She's nearly done. Okay, bosh. So as you can see, it looks good, but as you can see, it's far too wobbly. But the way we can change that is if we go to here, distortion amount. What I would do for this scene, I'll just set it to 2, and as you can see, as soon as I've set it to 2, it's given me a nice edge. So obviously when I sort of re-render it, which I like to do all the time, the actual Sun is not wobbling, if that makes sense. It looks good, and you could just feel like from this scene that the heat coming from it, because it's it's doing what it's meant to do. Actually, heat distortion is doing what it's meant to do, which is fantastic. But this is obviously, I think this pack was designed for jetstrike, which is another awesome thing to use it for. But obviously we'll try and get a little jet into a comp, and get the afterburner on, and we'll go from there. But obviously when you do a scene in jetstrike, make sure you pre-compose it or render it out first. If you don't, then it's going to be very difficult to segregate a part of the scene where you want it where the heat distortion, where you want to put it, if that makes sense, without sounding like an idiot. So as you can see, that just looks absolutely incredible just by setting that to 2. Also, obviously you've got different settings up here. You can change your noise pattern, so you can have it to smoke, so it gives you more of a sort of smoky effect, or you can sort of have it to into diary, whatever that's bloody called. I've never used that, so I don't bother with that. So it just gives you a different sort of effect for each setting, which is incredible. So I keep it to 5 because obviously that's what it's for. But as you can see, if I just open this up, open my effects, look at the difference. Watch the difference. So if I go to about there, so that's on, that's off, on, off. You can see the difference straight away. That, you know, the sort of effect it gives you. You know, that's on, that's off, that's on. You can see all here the heat distortion is all around there. So yeah, so that's just one part of how you would use heat distortion within your project. I do recommend check out the videocopilot.net website, download this tutorial and follow along to it. It is worth it because it does teach you a lot of tips and tricks, or Andrew Kramer teaches you a lot of different tips and tricks on how to use fractal noise and stuff like that. So it is very, very handy. So let's go new. Just go to a new project and let's have a new composition, and we're going to go layer, new solid, make comp size. This is so we can just open up elements. Let's go up to elements and we're just going to try something. Okay, so it's going to go to scene setup. We're going to come down to jetstrike and we're just going to find a decent enough jet so we can add a cool afterburn. So let's just have a look at this one. Make sure it's got a decent afterburner that we can show off, and check the controls. Yeah, that goes down, so that's going to give a good, you know, bit of heat distortion in that. Right, let's change our environment and let's go to garage blurred, keep it at that. Okay, so let's put this into our comp and let's close this, and we're going to try and use heat displacement within this scene. So first of all, we're going to go layer, new camera, and we're going to put this into a decent position with a background to give it some realism. Let's bring this here. Right, so, and let's just turn, or let's just animate our rudder for now. So this is 30 seconds long, as you can see. So let's go to effects, find our turbine, which is here. No, that's not our turbine. What am I talking about? Right, source rotation. Let's find out the right one. Right, this is the one here. So let's animate that. Go to about 12 seconds. Let's bring that down. And then we'll animate our camera as well. So as you can see, we've just animated that. And what I want to do is I want to just come back up here, close that, and I'm just going to click on that, hit P on the keyboard for position. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the stopwatch, bring it to 12 seconds the same, and I just want to orbit my jet up like so, so we can sort of like get a feel for the heat displacement like that. Very simple. Bosh. Right, so let's just add a background to that. I should be able to find it within my, I've got so much stuff for jetstrike, it's unreal. Alright, bear with me for a second. Find me video Copilot stuff. Should have prepared for this. I've got my Elements 3D backed up here. Okay, let's go to maps. Let's do 2K, and let's just have this, just anything really, just import that. I just want a sort of static background, so it just looks, you know, okay when we're sort of rendering. Right, this is not the one I wanted. Right, sod it. Let's download one for fun. So I'm just going to type in Sky. I'll probably end up getting Sky TV. Let's find a nice Sky. I hate using the ones from Video Copilot, them ones, because they're 3D, so let's just get this one. This one looks alright. Or typical, isn't it? Alright, let's keep it to that one. Let's download that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw that up here, and then I'm just going to put that into my comp. Okay, that's alright. Let's just bring this down. This is just so you can see the heat displacement working, because with the background, it's better to have a background when you're sort of showing it, because you'll be able to see what the heat displacement does. So let's just put this into position about here. Right, so let's test this out. Alright, that looks fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to render this out very quickly, and then we're going to try. What we need to do next is, obviously, like I said before, is pre-compose it. It just makes life a lot more easier when you're actually adding just the heat displacement here within your scene. Obviously, I want it here, I want it around here as well. So let's just finish rendering that out. Obviously, what I want to do is try and do this in real time as well, so you can see it from start to finish rather than pausing it and stuff like that. And I'm just going to light up a cigarette because I'm naughty like that. And it's also 20 past 12 at night as well. Right, so this is nearly done, which is great. Okay, so that's done. As you can see, we've got our jet just moving sideways with our exhaust moving like that. So what we're going to do is, like I say, we're just going to highlight these. We're going to come to layer, and I'm just going to pre-compose this and call it jet, and I'm just going to do that. This just makes life easier, trust, because if you have your whole project open without pre-composing and you try and do heat displacement or heat distortion, you're just going to get a big mess, trust. So Video Copilot heat distortion, and let that load up. Okay, so straight away, as you can see, our heat distortion is distorted our own scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale it up to about 150. 150. And then I'm just going to bring my noise down to about 5, like so. Now watch what happens when I render it out. The whole scene will be wobbly. This will take a bit of time to render out because heat distortion is so intense, it's unreal. Although it looks like nothing, trust me, it is. I'm just going to render a little bit out, just so we can get this effect working, because as you can see, all this is distorted, all this bit here is distorted, but obviously I want to sort of try and focus just on this, and when the turbine sort of goes down as well. Adds to the jet flight as well. As you can see, you can see just by not even doing anything, it's added a nice effect to it already. It's all up here as well, as you can see. Right. Obviously, you can imagine after you put this, you normally would do this in 3D, the background, and there's a 3D comp, but this is just giving you a rough idea of how this plugin works. Actually, what I am going to do, I am actually going to pause it and come back to this, because this normally doesn't take this long, but this computer's been on for 3 days flat, so it should be able to handle it because it's a 12-core Mac Pro. But needless to say, it's been on for a long time. So what I'll do is I'll just pause it and let it go to about 8 seconds, and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so that's done. I've only done just near enough 8 seconds, which was quite quick, so I didn't really need to pause it anyway, but hey ho. So now what's it's done, if we just run through it, look, it's given us heat displacement, but as you can see, the heat's basically all over the place. It's not directed on the turbine itself, so what we need to do is put that to position. So what we can do is we can get our ellipse tool, and I can just do a little circle just around it like that, and then if I open up my mask and my feather, I can just basically feather it out, as you can see. But look what it's done. When I get this and I play around with this, I can segregate the heat displacement just to one place, which is just here. Can you see? So if I zoom in, look what happens. When I bring this down, watch, can you see the heat displacement coming off of that? So you can sort of move the ellipse tool around, or move this around. Let's bring this to half. We can bring this and play with this around, so so we can just get our heat in one place, which is where we want, which is our turbine. So I can sort of bring this down like so, and bring this along like that. Okay, and then what I can do is I can bring my heat distortion amount higher, so it looks like there's loads of heat basically coming off of it. So now when we hide our ellipse tool, look what happens. We've just got the heat focused around here, if you can see. But then obviously you would play around with the ellipse tool to get it exactly where you want. So what I would do is basically, you know, turn that on, and I would sort of move this sort of over here like this, over here like this. So it's just covering this, so the heat is sort of, and then turn this down to maybe 10, like so. No, less than that, let's go 5. Now let's turn our ellipse tool off. Now when we play it, the heat is just focused around our turbine, as you can see. Let's put this to full, get more detail. As you can see, the heat is just focused around our turbine, which is what we want. But another cool thing what you can do, let's put this to half, is you can get another ellipse tool. So we get another ellipse tool here. You can bring, say for instance, you want heat coming off of this. You can put an ellipse tool around here as well. Go back up to here, and wherever you put this ellipse tool, heat displacement will happen. So if you look up here now, if we bring this over, we should get, let's go to full, a little bit of heat displacement within there as well. So let's just render this out, guys, so you can see it in all its glory. As you just see here, there's heat here as well. Could you see it just here, the heat, where the ellipse tool is? We'll just leave it there, but what I'll do is I'll move that down actually, because I want it down here. So wherever you put this ellipse tool, because generally enough, what happens is the heat displacement basically takes over the whole screen. So this is how you would basically segregate where you want the heat displacement to happen, i.e. your turbines and stuff like that. And basically when you're landing, you can use, you know, turn your wind up, so it looks like, you know, things are sort of there's some wind force blowing from the bottom of the jet, but that gives you a nice little effect around your turbine, which makes it work quite well. So let me just render this out for 6 seconds and you can have a good look at it and appreciate it in all its glory. Not only that, say for instance you're creating just a single fire, you would put your heat distortion on it, use the same techniques, mask around with your ellipse tool, so you get the heat just flowing in the direction you basically want it to flow. As you can see, heat is just focused around the turbine and it's not interfering with any of the other part of the scene, as you can see. So obviously very simple techniques to get a heat displacement or heat distortion working in your favour, and that's why I think heat distortion plugin from Video Copilot is so worth it, because if you was to do this the long way around, it would take forever to get this sort of effect. So it's always good to get these plugins just to speed up your workflow, and just make it look a little bit better. But as you can see, this one here, if I didn't want it, I could just go down and shut it off. As you can see, nice bit of heat from there, and you can sort of play around with that as well. So if we go to here, you can have smoke, so you can have a smoky effect, rather than a fire effect. The idea is just play around with this to get it the way you want it. So that's basically heat distortion from Video Copilot, and how you would use it. So I really do thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Take care, guys.